Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depending on the time of the world, the place of the world where you're connecting from, this is your host, Noah Ndrovu, broadcasting live from Washington. Today is a special day as we reflect on the beautiful things that our women always do for us. Where would this world be without our women? As we reflect on this special day, commemorating the marvelous things that the ladies, the females, the girls, the women do, we thought it appropriate for us to have some conversation with a few key women who are doing great and wonderful things in our beloved country of Zambia. I am pleased to be joined by the following people. So we have Mr. Fewdays Chanka, who is coming from the government side. Mr. Chanka, good morning, sir. Good afternoon, good evening.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, colleagues. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Chanka. And let's go to Lorraine. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Lorraine.
Good morning, thank you.
Thank you. And let's go to Memory. Memory.
Greetings to you.
Good, good. And last but not least, we go to Madam Sylvia Banda.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody.
Great, great. Yes, so today is a special day. We are looking at women, celebrating women. To start us out in our conversation, we're going to go to Mr. Fewdays Chanka, who is representing the government, to share a little bit what the government of the Republic of Zambia is doing in recognizing or reflecting, or at the same time looking at the Ministry of Gender Affairs. The world has come a long way to get to this point where there is representation.
Thank you very much.
Different sexes. So, Mr. Chanka, talk a little bit about
the government of the Republic of Zambia.
Yes, sir.
Conforms to international standards regarding gender equality and empowerment of women. Zambia has subscribed to the 1995 declaration, which was held in Beijing. So in that regard, Zambia has also gone ahead to ensure that they are part of the regional body, which is SADC. And in that regard, we have gone down to national level to domesticate a number of protocols and conventions that ensure support gender equality. And Zambia has recorded a number of successes in terms of putting our women into decision-making positions. And in that regard, we have seen the ushering in of our first female vice president as far back as 2015. We also have recorded the first chief justice, as well as our current female speaker of the National Assembly. All this is meant to ensure that the spaces where previously were male-dominated, we have now women in these places. And most importantly, our current president is the gender champion, whose role at the African Union is to ensure that we end early child marriages. Maybe I can end there for now.
Yeah, thank you. We want, I think the government so far is on the right track. We had the Vice President, Madam Nalumango, and the Speaker. I think that's a very good, positive stance or direction that the government is taking. So I have a question for you, Mr. Chanka. The question for you is, from a national perspective, how would you describe Zambia's progress in the advancement of women and empowerment?
The national perspective from gender issues is that we are doing well as Zambia. We have been able to support our women nearly in all spheres. We started as far back as 2000 to put up the national gender policy. This national gender policy, the first gender policy was to look at the full participation of women. Then later on, we had to revise it to ensure that there is equal opportunities for everyone. So this national gender policy is progressive, and the new one that we are looking at is the gender policy of 2023. This one has got a number of objectives in all the sectors: mining, commerce, transport, energy, and education, even the health sector. In all these spheres, we have come up with our objectives. Our role as government is coordination. So we ensure that all these sectors, they come up with sectoral policies. These sectoral policies will have strategic plans, as well as programs that will speak to achievement of gender equality. For instance, I will speak to the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education, we have collaborated very well because the Ministry of Education is a gender champion, if I can call it that way. It has started with policies that are able to improve or increase completion rates for the girl child in schools. And because of that, we have seen progress in terms of those girls that were previously excluded. When they fell pregnant, now we are able to admit them so that these are able to complete schools, even go up to tertiary levels. So this is how we are trying to empower women and also achieve gender equality. Of late, we have witnessed, for instance, at grade 7, grade 9, grade 12, we have seen, because of the steps that we have taken, we have put in place, for instance, the STEM program, which talks about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have seen the girl child doing far much better than the boy child. So this achievement is quite mammoth, and we want to ensure that this progress is sustained. I submit.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's always good when the government is taking all the necessary steps to ensure that at least there's equality across the board. So thank you. So we're going to take a short break and then we'll come back. We're going to go to memory, and then we'll proceed to Lorraine. So we'll take a short break and then we'll be right back. If you're just joining us, you are watching Premier Media as we commemorate International Women's Day. So joining me now is Memory Chanda. Memory, talk a little bit about what does this day, let's start with the easy question. What does this day mean for you?
I think it's a celebration of how far we have come as women, both young and old. It is a celebration of the tremendous work that the government has put in, and of course other sectors that are non-governmental to just ensure that women have a voice, to ensure that women are able to express themselves and also pursue their dream.
All right, yeah, it's always good. We want women to achieve their dreams. So now, here is a question. I think now, question for you. As a writer and a storyteller, how do you see the power of stories in shaping perceptions about women?
I've always believed that writing is a very big tool. If you see the way women behave currently, it is because of the stories that were written about women previously. I'll give an example of the story of Cinderella, the princess, and all of that. You find that it has shaped how many girls grew up and how they perceived womanhood. And so I believe that the power of writing will shape so many women. If we can get more girls and women to read, if we can write more stories that are empowering women, then we get to shape their minds as a whole. We open up the world of possibilities and also show them what is just waiting on the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's good. I think storytelling, writing, I think it's something that we need to encourage as much as possible so that at least we can empower and create a reading culture, because I think that is good. So let's switch gears a little bit and go to Lorraine. Lorraine is a Lorraine. She is a member of the Media House, and this is the Institute for Southern Africa. Talk a little bit, a simple question for you. What does International Women's Day mean for you?
So the International Women's Day to me, and together as MISA Zambia, it brings out the perspective that women can lead. We want to bring out the issues or the misrepresentation of women leaders, the leadership which we have here in Zambia. We've seen that most women who are leaders, they are perceived as not going to be submissive when it comes to being wives or being as aunties or everything. But what we want as MISA Zambia, we want to bring out issues, or we want to encourage these women to take up the leadership positions. As MISA Zambia chairperson, it hasn't been easy for me to be a leader. When you are there as a leader, everybody's looking at you as who is she? What can she do? What can she give us? But we want to bring out these issues and encourage every woman that they should take up the mantle of getting the highest positions in the country. I want to see that woman here in Zambia. I want to see that girl. I want to see Chanda eyeing for a presidential position here in Zambia. That's what we want to see as women. I love how we are coming out, and I've seen that there's a lot of bullying, social media bullying, especially here in Zambia when it comes to women's representation. It was very sad to see how women like Madame Nawakwi was being bullied. I bring out the issues of Madame Dora Sidia, the way they bully them. This intimidates women not to take up other roles. You know, when I see these social media postings, even Millie, she's trying to sell her product, but fellow women, they'll bully her, and then it brings fear in young women, like the way memory is, to eye for these positions, because they don't want to go through the same bullying which they've seen, which has been imposed on other women. So on this Women's Day, we want to make sure or encourage each and every woman, especially the younger generations, younger than me, of course, the ones who are coming up, that no, we should combat the social media bullying and encourage women to take up these leadership positions. These leadership positions, they are not only for men. We know we want to see more women standing. Like, there's this year we have the general elections. We don't have any women presentation, which is a sad note. We're supposed to have women representation. Women are not encouraged. They are being intimidated in these positions because of even our cultures ourselves. Even our culture doesn't allow women to take up these positions. When it comes to married women, when you are in a home, you first consult your husband if you can take up this role, a leadership role. The first answer will be no. Why? The fear that maybe you stop being submissive, or even the fear of the shame of social media embarrassment, where they'll even bring out where these I don't know whether content creators, let me call them content creators, they'll bring shame to women's they even use private parts. Let me say parts. They'll bring out those parts where they'll start disgracing you using these parts, and then it brings shame to a woman, even to the husband himself. So most men will just say, no, me, I won't allow you to take up these positions, because these things which we see on social media, and I wouldn't want to my woman to be seen like that. But so we are saying this Women's Day, we are encouraging women to take up those leading roles. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that sometimes there could be bullying going on, but I think it's sort of across the board. There is need for people just to be responsible and mature and ensure that at least they are not really being petty, so to speak. But here's a question for you. You are coming from the media house. I think the question for you is, from a media and governance perspective, how important is women's representation and voice in shaping public discourse?
So when the women are represented, they bring up diverse perspectives. We encourage women to take up these roles because they bring up diverse perspectives. Madam here, who has not yet spoken, she can attest to that when a women lead, they only not bring up leadership skills, but they are also mentors. They'll bring up diverse perspective on how a woman can even like grow themselves business-wise, what they can do, even if they are not educated. Look at Memory, she's a writer. So those are diverse perspectives which we want to hear from other women. They'll bring out, you can become a writer as a woman, you can become a company owner as a woman, you can be a chef, you can even sew doormats and become a leader and become a role model. So we want role models. We want to encourage, we want to see role models. MISA chairmanship leadership has been there for over 30 years. And in these 30 years, we've only been two women. Two women have led these positions of chairmanship. And then when you are a leader there, everybody wants to see what you are going to say, what is being said on social media, how are you going to be attacked by politicians, are you going to be compromised when it comes to this politics and everything? But it's not easy, yes, as a women leader, but we are there as role models. I'm here as a role model because I want to see more women leading these positions, and also addressing inequalities. So when a woman is out there, they bring out these issues of inequalities, they are being addressed. So a man, if they are leading the position, they won't bring out these inequalities talkings in their agenda. they'll think a woman's role is behind and then they are in front as a leader. But we want to address the inequalities which is out there, and then we want to ensure that even women, and to bring out the thing that women can lead as well, and encourage other young women that they should take up this mantle of leading or holding up these leadership positions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You are listening to Premier Media's presentation of the International Women's Day discussion. And now we are going to be joined by Madam Sylvia Banda. She is a veteran in the space of business. She's been around for over 30 years. So let's talk to Madam Sylvia. Welcome, Madam Sylvia. And in your own words, before we get to the questions that we have for you, what does this day mean to you?
Thank you very much, and thank you, listeners. My name, quite all right, as you have said, is Sylvia Banda. What this day means to me is that as women, we needed to celebrate who we are without apologizing, but with the confidence in what we are doing, no matter how small something that we are doing is. As a woman, you can grow it because God has given a woman the instinct. A woman can tell a danger coming before it actually arrives, or a success before it actually knocks on your door. That is what is missing in our men folk. That thing, it is just in the woman. So meaning, when we celebrate as a woman, we should know that God loves us so much. Doesn't mean that God hates men, but there is a special place for women in God's heart. Yes.
I'm beginning to think maybe God doesn't love men.
No, not really. Because even when God created a man, he got him from the soil. Mm-hmm. But when he created a woman, he got it from the rib, meaning that a woman is a special being. It's something that has never experienced the dirt from the soil, meaning it's very clean, it's very smart.
That's good, that's good. I think I will speak on behalf of myself and Mr. Fewdays Chanka. The question that I usually get is like, people would say, where would the men be, or where would this world be without women? And you know what the answer is? The answer is in the Garden of Eden. So that's where the men would be. But anyway, just want women to remember that. Otherwise, so just joking here. So the question that I have for Madam Sylvia is, you are a business lady. Your journey as an entrepreneur has motivated a lot of people. You have been in this space for quite some time. The formal question is, what unique challenges do women entrepreneurs face, particularly in value chains or in agriculture or in your space of drawing from your experience? What would you say are some of the challenges that you personally have faced, and maybe what you see mostly?
Thank you very much. I think briefly, let me talk about the journey that I've made. I started business at the age of 12 as a hobby. I didn't even know that I was doing business. I've grown with it, and to the time whereby when I got employed by the government in formal employment, I only worked for 3 years and I called it quits, and I've never gone back. There are so many challenges that women face which even myself I faced. One of them is the structural barriers such as limited access to finance, and also land tenure for women, restrictions, and also few opportunities of training and mentorship. Let me talk about agriculture, the space where I am. I've been in business, as you said, for more than 30 years. I started Sylva Catering in 1990. Then we came up with a college, which has been running for more than 25 years. And then 2014, we constructed a university. 2010, we went into food processing and value addition. In this space, we train women to solar dry the products, because Zambia, we've only got one season. And we saw the need to say that how could people continue enjoying the vegetables which God has given us? And this is how we went into drying of the vegetables, so that even when that season is gone, at least you'll be able to enjoy the vegetables. We started with a few people from the diaspora who were buying our products, and through sharing with the other Africans in the diaspora, this is how our business actually grew, because now we found that those buyers who promote African products started getting in touch with us, and this is how we started exporting. It was not easy because we couldn't meet the orders. So that is how we went into. I came up with a prototype solar dryer where we were drying the vegetables, and because of being a solar dryer, vegetables were drying faster than drying in the sun. This boosted our business, and right now our products are all over the world. And then we have trained women. 3/4 of this number that I'm going to share with you are women. We have trained more than 60,000 smallholder farmers to solar dry the products, and then we are the market. We provide the market for them. We have 2 factories where we process these products, and it is easier for us now to sell anywhere where these products are needed. I told you that we started with a small solar dryer that can only dry up to 10 kgs, but we have commercialized that prototype. Now we are even constructing a solar dryer that can dry about 2.5 tons at a go. And if at all you came to my place, sometimes you find me actually in a wetsuit, and we are welding, these solar dryers. I believe that as women, we should not have self-pity for ourselves. We should, as long as you are able to do something, do it. Because God has given us 5 fingers, and we've also, when you are able-bodied, you are, capable of doing anything. I talked about land tenure. These are some of the problems that we face with when we go to our farmers, and we want them to increase the acreage so that they can grow more products and supply to us. They will tell you to say that the chief has given the land that they were occupying where they were growing. Whenever the investor comes in, you'll find that the farmers will be disadvantaged. Working with other NGOs and also some wings of the government, I'm happy to say that we have helped a lot of these smallholder farmers, to have the title deeds to this pieces of land which now they occupy. Yeah, I think that's what I can say. But these 60,000 smallholders which I talked about, we have gone through all the 10 provinces of Zambia. We have also crossed into Tanzania, and we have also crossed into Mozambique as Sylva Food Solutions.
Oh, that's very impressive. That's impressive. Before you know it, I mean, you'll be crossing into the White House as well. So we will be there to cheer for you, because Trump will be purchasing and making Sylvia food great again.
For sure.
Right,
We're looking
so-
forward to that.
All right, so we're going to take a short break and then we'll circle back to Mr. Chanka to share what the government is doing. If you're just joining us, this is Premier Media's version of celebrating the International Women's Day. So you want to make sure that you invite your friends, share with your colleagues, circles of friends to join and to follow the stream on your social media platform. So we're going to go back now to Mr. Chanka. And the question for you, sir, is what are some of the key policy and institutional interventions currently supporting women's leadership and participation across the sectors?
Thank you very much. Yeah, like Rhoda mentioned, one of the policies that government has enacted to ensure that we support the women in workplaces is the National Gender Policy. Apart from that, the government has also come up with the Anti-Gender-Based Violence Act. This one, like my colleagues have mentioned, you know, most of our women face a lot of abuse, sexual exploitation in workplaces. So this act, the policy that government has put in place is there to ensure that the women are safeguarded as they go about doing their business. Yeah, so government has provided that platform. Now it's up to each and every sector to come up with its sectoral policy that will speak to sexual abuse, exploitation, and harassment. So it's from government perspective, it's a requirement for each government institution, whether at ministerial level or department, to come up with a policy that will speak to sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment. Also, the private sector are also encouraged to ensure that they develop these policies that will speak to anti-gender-based violence. So
okay.
I will speak to some of the success stories that gender division has encountered with the Ministry of Energy. The Ministry of Energy has developed the GSAP. This is the gender strategic plan for the energy sector. You know, the energy sector is one of the sectors where there is a lot of development. For instance, when we are constructing hydropower stations, it will call for displacement of people where they are. And when these projects are being constructed, you'd find that there are new people that are coming in new areas. So when these people come in, for instance, in some rural space, there is a lot of abuse that happens there. You'd find that once the project maybe is done, you are going to see new children that are born of maybe some Asian origin, you know. So such kind of interventions that government has put in place, collaborating with the lead ministries and sectors, are there to come up with social safeguards that will speak to protecting women in the workplaces, so that at the end of the day, they are not sexually abused or exploited, because they might not be economically up there, but some of these people, they may take advantage. So it is a mandate from government side to ensure that each sector come up with a sectoral policy in line with the anti-gender-based violence, which will speak to anti-sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment. Whether there are developments that are happening in the transport sector, you have seen when the roads have been constructed, there are a number of women that will be there. So what is happening there is also, we are advocating that the women in the road transport sector, they also take leadership roles in terms of maybe being engineers, and they should also be protected. Not what usually happens, you see that when the roads are being constructed, you see just the women taking up this back row where they will just be flagging how many vehicles are coming, they are passing well, where the men workers will be men who will be doing the engineering roles. But our advocate is that women are given also enough space to take up leadership roles. So apart from that, the national gender policy has got also the implementation plan, which runs from 2023 to 2028. So in this implementation, the government is speaking to various sectors, Ministry of Health, Education, to come up with programs and implement them according to the gender national policies objective. So that at the end of the day, we have women who are supported to be able to take up leadership roles, not traditionally the way it has been, where most leadership were for men.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that at least the government is leading and doing everything possible to foster that necessary change that we need. So let's follow it up with another question, sir, and then we'll switch to memory. So how can government, the private sector and the civil society collaborate to ensure women are truly rising and that there is more focus on the government?
So at the moment, we have already collaborating with a number of the private sectors. For instance, in the Ministry of Agriculture, there are a number of civil society organizations that have come on board. There is CABI, there is UNDP, there is World Vision. Apart from those, the World Bank is also collaborating with government through projects such as Jewel, which is Girls' Education and Women Economic Empowerment Livelihoods. Also, the government is collaborating with these institutions to ensure that they come up with one of the programs that they are calling Keeping Girls in Schools, the KGS. So we are doing very well to collaborate with the private sector. And apart from that, we are also collaborating with UNDP, where we are developing the program called the Gender Seal. The Gender Seal is a program that will be able to assess how the private sector, even the government institutions, how they are doing in terms of gender equality. Those that are doing very well will be given a gold prize. Those that are not doing very well, but somewhere in between silver and the other ones, bronze. So this one is there to ensure that we assess in terms of structures, how many women are in the key decision-making positions. We also carry out what we are calling the gender responsive planning and budgeting, and we are also carrying out the gender audits. The gender audits are there from time and again. I'm happy to make mention that recently we carried out a gender audit for the Ministry of Agriculture, where we looked at how many extension officers are there in terms of number, in terms of gender, women, and and we are also trying to come up with statistics in terms of how the infrastructure are being built. These are there to ensure that we support our women in terms of keeping them longer in these workplaces so that productivity hours are increased. So it's a lot of work that we are doing with the private sector, and so far so good. We are doing well. The private sector is very happy. Many of them are volunteering, they are coming on board to ensure that we support women as well as the girl child. For instance, one of the issues that you may wish to note is the number of private institutions that have come on board to support schools, the ministry, so that where for the girl child, so that these are supposed to be kept in schools, including the teaching staff, because if the environment is not good, the women during their periods of the month, they might not be able to stay for longer periods of time in schools. So government together with the private sector, we are collaborating so that there are facilities. In times past, we never used to have shower facilities in some of the schools and workplaces. But this time around, through our gender audit, these are the recommendations that we are making to ensure that workplaces have got facilities where women can feel secure, and the girl child is also supported in schools so that learning objectives are not interrupted. I submit.
Yeah, I think that's very good. That's very good to see that the government is taking the lead and putting all the necessary infrastructure, facilities, and all that which is needed. I think, I'm sure Lorraine is going to be happy because I think she pointed out a few things, but I think the government is coming from that angle. I'm sure both Madam Sylvia and Memory, they are happy with what is being said. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back to Memory. So we're going to take a short break and we'll get with Memory. Yes, if you're just joining us, this is Premier Media's celebrating International Women's Day, and we are joined by a panelist of great women, and we also have a representative from the government. So at this point, we're going to go to Memory Chanda. Memory, I know you've been sitting there waiting, looking at the clock. So a question for you now is, here's the question for you. How can literature and creative expression contribute to women's empowerment and social change?
Okay, and I think as we were having this chat earlier, it's something that I actually alluded to say reading. They say if you cannot read, you can't lead. So if we want to create women in leadership positions, then creativity in form of written, word can actually help to create emerging leadership among women. And also, I think a lot of women are leaders without even realizing it. And one of the way that they could express their leadership by shaping society and the community at large is using, the written form, the written expression. So it is not that everybody has to be a politician. Some of us are leaders using paper and pen because we are trying to shape the community in which we are. And so this is something that I just think creativity is not just for entertainment. Creativity is also a leadership too. And I hope that if there are younger girls out there who are thinking, and even women who are thinking to say, how can I take up some leadership roles in my community? I want to, bring about positive impact. Writing, creativity in form of writing is one of those ways. But one more thing, Noah, I really want to talk about some of the things that I think are actually lagging behind in Zambia. Some of the issues that I feel, if addressed, could actually help women in Zambia to take up more leadership roles, not just in politics. I have seen as a young woman that there is this emergence of women turned men. Now, I say this with the best of intentions. We are lacking in training a woman to understand that you don't have to be a man to actually be successful, okay? You don't have to be like a man to take up, leadership roles. That is where, at the end of it all, we are having this unhealthy competition among the genders, which is not how it's supposed to be, because we're supposed to complement one another. So we need to start highlighting, and I'm looking at Madame Sylvia and of course Lorraine and thinking, look, these are people who have gone ahead of us. And when we look at them, we can still see the femininity in them. We saw how Madame Sylvia earlier was just going on and on about how a woman is blessed to be a woman, and how they bring this beautiful touch to everything that they touch. And so my plea right now is, could we have more feminine women showing other women that we can do it just as we are? There is power in femininity, and so we need to make that balance, because at the end of the day, we are losing the womanly touch in pursuit of ambition, which is not healthy. We need to keep being women. That is our superpower. That is our superpower. And it will also help us to create a more habitable community between women and men to actually work together in a healthy manner.
Yeah, I think that's good. Women need to be women, so that's very good.
Yeah.
So here's the follow-up question. What themes about manhood, womanhood, and leadership do you feel are still underdeveloped or underrepresented in our country, in Zambia?
One of the themes I think is the need for development in the mental health space. As women, we also need peace. I've heard a lot of people just say, men need peace, men need peace. Well, women need peace too. And you can't really be a successful woman if your mental space is not in the correct place. So we need more emphasis on the involvement in the mental health space for women as they are pursuing, the ladder. And also, I think Mr. Chanka talked about sexual abuse. As somebody who's actually a survivor of sexual abuse, I have realized, and having created a documentary film about my background of, surviving sexual abuse, I've realized a lot of women coming on board now and saying to me, you know what, Memory, I've been through this. And most of them, it is at the hands of somebody they actually were looking up to. It is at the hands of their boss, at the hands of somebody who promised them a job. Okay, so these are things that we need to start talking about to equip women to know that, please, as you work hard, as you are seeking to advance yourself, you also need to be equipped to protect yourself from sexual abuse, in as much as government is putting up across policies to help eliminate these vices. And we also just want to make sure that we create a good environment that prevents sexual abuse in workplaces, even in the marketplace.
Well said, well said. And we hear so many stories about people being survivors of sexual crimes and just unfortunate things. But at least it's good that you are here with us talking about some of the experiences and even writing a book so that at least others are sensitized. And this is just something that I think as a people we can do better. So we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to go to Miss Chisanga. So sit back, relax, and we'll be right back in a few seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are commemorating International Women's Day, and I have a panel of ladies who are sharing their thoughts on this wonderful day. So now we're going to go to Madam Lorraine Chisanga. Madam Lorraine, I know you've been sitting there waiting to jump into the conversation. So here's a question for you.
Yes, please.
What challenges do women face in using media platforms to advocate for social change?
Limited access. I'll say women have got limited access to online. So when we see women leaders, let me borrow some words which Chanda had used. There are some women who are in rural areas who do not have access to social media, and they don't have access to these online publications. And then they don't have where to go to, like they don't have who to cry to when they have got these challenges or when they want to express themselves. I've seen a lot of women, like in rural areas, they've come up with this social club, and then they want to express themselves, they want to market themselves on social media and bring out the issues which are happening in their communities, but they lack representation. Sometimes they fear the online harassment. Most of these women, they are harassed online. They would want to express, they want to bring out their views. I love what the Mine Online, sorry, I've forgotten his name, under Minister of Gender, that the government is coming up with policies which will help up women to address themselves when it comes to women challenge, things which want to address women, things which will help women to address themselves on social media and everything. So yeah, I'll end there. Most women, they lack access to online representation, so to say.
All right, so the follow-up question to that is, how can media institutions contribute to positive narratives that uplift women and girls?
So we've engaged, like as MISA Zambia, we've engaged our media representation in rural areas. we have encouraged community radio stations to bring up programs which women can participate into in local languages. So we've seen there's a barrier when it comes to language, and then most women, like in the rural areas, they feel good when they represent themselves in local languages. So most of these community radio stations, and I'm happy that we have more than 100 community radio stations here now in Zambia, which are airing programs which are empowering women to express themselves and participate in these civic roles. Memory said women are not born politicians, not only. There are other positions, even in church positions, in community positions, which are bringing out girls' welfare. There's a lot of defilement cases which are happening in Zambia. So there's a big representation of women who are expressing themselves in community radio stations, and bringing out how they can bridge the gaps and how they reach out to Ministry of Gender and others. And I'm happy that we have embraced, or we are going back to the use of our local languages in these community stations, which is helping out people to bring out their emotional and intelligence feelings out there. So this is what we have been encouraging. This is what we have been doing. We have been, I don't know, there's been a bias some time back. There have been this gap where if you can't express yourself in English, then you cannot be there on social media, or you cannot be there on TV or anywhere else. But I'm happy that women are participating in this community engagement using these community radio stations. Even here in Lusaka, we have community radio stations. I think Madam Banda can attest. 20 years ago, we never had community radio stations, and women they never had platforms to represent themselves. But now, go to Chibombo, go to Chongwe, we've got community radio stations where we have even programs which bring out the community and bring out the issues which are affecting them, girls, the child marriages and how they can be addressed, the gaps and everything. And I'm happy that we have moved that way. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Madam Chisanga.
Premier Media is one of the fastest growing independent media enterprises that produces bias-free content and streams educational programs to empower Africans, African Americans, and the African diaspora around the globe. Premier Media owns and operates a valuable portfolio of streaming programs, such as Primetime Show, The Circle of Love, Leadership Files, and Revolution. Not forgetting our signature development panel series, which features experts around the world that highlight challenges and opportunities in Africa, putting Africa in the center of global conversations. For more information, visit us at premiermedia.com or follow us on social media.
Yeah, follow us on social media, premiermedia.com, and if you want to reach the diaspora world, just reach out to us and we'll be able to connect you to the global Zambian population out there. So as we are continuing in our conversation here, we're going to go back now to Madam Sylvia Banda, and for her to talk a little bit about among the many things that she's been doing. So I think let's start out with this question. So, Madam Sylvia, talk a little bit about your journey. What motivates you as an entrepreneur? What inspires you, and what motivated you to venture into this agribusiness?
Thank you very much. I think my motivation stemmed from the deep passion for showcasing the richness of Zambia's local cuisine and agricultural potential. I saw agribusiness, not just as a commercial opportunity, but as a platform to empower communities, create jobs, and elevate indigenous foods to premium standards. For me, it was about turning traditional into innovation, building business that celebrate culture while driving sustainable development. And from the time that I entered this space in promoting food, I've never looked back. All I do is just to keep on improving. And also I noticed to say that it will be very difficult for my voice to be heard if at all I work alone. This is the reason why I had to bring in more players to work with. I'm so happy with what the director from Gender mentioned. I've worked with Gender Division, Gender Ministry, and so forth several times. And for sure, even some of the areas which I mentioned about the land tenure, we actually worked together. It's one of the ministries that we worked together with the NGOs to try to help these farmers in the rural areas. And also, let me also, I'll be failing if at all I don't quickly comment on what Memory was talking about. Is it Memory or?
Yes, Memory Chanda, yes.
Yes. Talking about the media. Media has really supported my organization, Sylva Food Solutions, because we have reached this 60,000 smallholder farmers in training. It's because of the media, because what we normally do before we move into any province or any district, we use the media to sensitize the people that will be in that area, and these are kind of trainings which we'll be undertaking. And for sure, we'll find the people ready and willing actually to be trained and to join the bandwagon of supplying the products to our company. Yeah, I think for now I can end here.
Yeah, I think it's just encouraging looking at how far we've come and where we are and the role that the media has been playing and continues to play, especially for you getting into the spaces that you have managed to get into. And so now, as we are now in the final stretch of this conversation, we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we'll be able to talk about the final thoughts and to be able to at this time, also, you want to make sure that at least if you haven't followed our page, you like and follow our page and share with your friends and circles to be part of our next programming. All right, so let's go to Madam Lorraine as we are in our final stretch. The question for you is, in your view, how can women use their voices more boldly and collectively to influence society?
They need representation, of course. When they are represented everywhere, their voices will be heard. Women, they're influencers. We are influencers in a lot of things. When something is being addressed by a woman, it will be done. I'll take you back to the Garden of Eden where you said it was a woman. We've got power in us. As a mother, as a mentor, we have this power which has been given by God. This is the reason why the role of taking care of a family is given to us. A baby can be mentored. The baby is born 0, and then they are mentored by their mothers to become what they are or who they are. They are born with 0, nothing in the head. So as a women, we've got that mantle of being to be present everywhere, in church, politically, community-wise. I'm going back to the thing where I said I'm happy that I've seen community radio stations coming up and allowing voices of women to address themselves, to take up leadership positions, using the language which they are comfortable to speak. You know, some of these skills or capacity, they are held up because people are afraid to express themselves. Now we've given them this platform where they can talk, express themselves, and represent. And I think we've improved. Madam Sylvia can attest that where she started from and where we are now, because of the many trainings she's done, there's a great improvement in leadership representation of women everywhere, countrywide, everywhere. And then women are leading with confidence. And then this has influenced the development of our country as Zambia. When taking up the role of chairpersonship at MISA, I was an introvert. I was scared. I was a bit scared to look at the minister or even talk, where you go in this meeting and then there's a minister, you freeze. That's what I was. But, because there are women out there who are pushing, you can do it. We want this women representation and then want to see more and more. We are there to mentor ourselves. What I don't like is the social media harassment. I'm not in favor of it. I've seen women who want to sell their product, genuinely grow in business, genuinely want to show up their skills using these modern platforms, the social media, but they're harassed, intimidated, which is very, very sad. And I am happy that we now have cyber laws which will help to combat these things, these devices which we see up there. But I know women leadership, women's representation makes the country grow the way we've seen it. Yeah. I'll end there.
That's good. Yeah.
I think the Minister of Gender can attest to that. That there's a woman who can't see anything. Yeah, we know our men, they are leaders, but yeah, a woman has to be there as well to lead the way.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Just remember, Jesus had 12 disciples, and remember that. Yeah, so we're going to go back to, but that's a important conversation. I'm just joking there at the end.
Yeah.
But Mr. Chanka, as we are in the final stretch now, we're in the final stretch, sir. So the question for you is, what message would you like to share with young women aspiring to leadership roles in public service and governance?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think government has enacted adequate policies that are there to ensure that there is a reduction in terms of gender inequalities. The gaps should be removed completely so that there is equal participation of women and men. So we have the national gender policy, we have got the anti-gender-based violence, and each sector, wherever they want to participate, there is a sectoral policy that will speak to their rights within that workspace. If there are problems within there, it's a mandate for that department or that sector to come up with redress mechanisms in case there is some issues that arise in that workplaces, so that they are easily addressed. So going forward, the landscape has been leveled for both gender to succeed. There is no discrimination. The workplaces previously, which were specifically for male, which were male dominated, we can now see women taking up roles. One of the examples is our Madam Chanda there. She's the chairperson and board chairperson in the space that was previously held by men. So it's thumbs up to government, and the young women out there should come on board and step in and be counted, but they just need to have the right credentials. They need to have the right paper so that they have the confidence. Remember, when you are in the system without being vetted properly, you might not have the confidence, but we need women to go through the right procedures. They have the right qualification. If they want to be in the mining sector, let them take up the STEM courses that will make sure that they have the same capacity as men, so that they should not be looked down upon. As for government, we have got enough policies and legal frameworks that should not marginalize anyone. Everyone should have equal opportunities, so that we should coexist. And also, when we do that, we are looking forward to Zambia becoming the middle income in line with the Vision 2030. So this is very important. Remember, our women folk in the agriculture sector, the women folk in terms of workforce, they bring about 52%. So they are there to ensure that everything is done and be supported, and they shouldn't be marginalized. In the education sector, they are the majority. So government has put in the landscape that is supporting everyone. I submit.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I think it's very encouraging to see what we are seeing, and we can only hope that I think things continue progressing in the direction that we are going, so that at least there is equal participation. I think the country, provided we are on this path, I think that should be good. So we're going to take our last break, and then when we come back, we'll give Madam Sylvia the opportunity to share some last thoughts, and then we'll conclude. So take this last break, and then we'll be right back. If you're just joining us, you are listening to Premier Media's celebration of International Women's Day, and we've had a panel of distinguished people to speak to our topic, International Women's Celebration. So now, Madam Sylvia Banda, your last question for you. What role does mentorship play in helping women entrepreneurs rise to the occasion?
Thank you very much. Mentorship is catalyst for growth. It provides guidance, confidence. It also provides networking, and many women may not otherwise access it. Experienced entrepreneurs can help young women navigate the challenges to avoid the pitfalls and seize opportunities. Beyond individual successes, mentorship fosters solidarity. When women rise together, they create ecosystem of support that strengthen entire industry. In agriculture, I can say that we have succeeded. Before, agriculture actually was a theme of the past. It was not known at all. But because of the manner in which we have taken this agriculture, it's not on our own. It is, when you have the level playing field by the government that understands the pride of the people, you even work more. Because some countries, actually, it is impossible for them even to grow what we grow, because each time they want to go into the field to do something, they are listening to the gunshots. But in Zambia, we don't have such things. And also, we have beautiful policies. I'm happy that Mr. Chanka is here. We have beautiful policies for agriculture. My word of advice is that let those beautiful policies be implemented. Not just being left, at a launching level. We have this policy, we have export policy, we have that, but they are just at the launching, as I said. Implement them because we need them. And for agriculture, my word of advice is that to our researchers, in order for agriculture to grow even more than where we are today, let our researchers come up with some of the terminologies which the farmers will adopt. Like I always fight some of the terminologies. How can you come and tell the farmers to say, mentioning words like agroecology? I've tried to search this one. It only gives me agroecology, you see. Now, when I tell my farmers, what is agroecology? Though it may be good, but they may not adapt it because they don't understand what it is. That is why even in our training, when we are training these farmers, we look at the situation. Sometimes we don't even use English. It's a foreign language. We go local because we want them to get what we want to, for them to do. Why we train the farmers? You may be wondering, but why? Because we've got a certain standard that we want to impart into our farmers so that by the time the products are coming to us, they have already done the primary processing, as we are going to do the secondary processing. So these are some of the things that I felt to say that we need to work together as women. The one who was dropped, she talked about women trying to put themselves in another form, to look like men. I was impressed when she said that, and I said, I think I needed to say one word or so. Yes, I've never seen a farmer going to the field, to a field naked. All the time farmers, they dress up properly to go and till the land. But I fail to understand why the common woman should be going in the streets naked, half naked. Yeah. And tomorrow, Lorraine will come and write, no, someone raped the, gang raping, what. I think, Lorraine, you have a lot of work to do first before you even publicize that. First of all, talk to these young women. Look at the way she was dressed by the time she was raped. She was half naked, encouraging people to say, here I am, I'm ready for everything. So all the man would do is just a finger to drop that little skirt, which is at the bottom, just drop it down and everything is done. So let's try to mentor our young ones when they are leaving our homes as mothers, talk to them. And these are women, even if they, they walk around like that. To tell you the truth, Mr. Chanka will attest to my point. Do these women get married easily? Even you, Lorraine, do they get married easily? No. They have exposed everything, from inside to outside. Here I am. So meaning that that woman will just be going and going, and it will take a long time because every man, when he looks at her, will be thinking to say, she's for public consumption. So let's try to help our young ones to have decent homes. Even a person who dresses decently definitely will be able to get married. Even when she says something, she'll be heard. So I believe that those are some of the things that as a lovely Zambian, we should try to help, especially the young ones who are coming up. Each time I travel out of Zambia, people ask me to say, why is it that you Zambians, you call yourself a Christian nation and you are so peaceful? My answer is always is that it's because Jesus lives in Zambia. Yeah. And as long as Jesus lives in Zambia, That's the reason why we're here. I love Zambia and have no intentions of leaving Zambia to go anywhere else, because I believe this is my nation, this is my country. The little that I do, I'm contributing to national development, and I'm a happy Zambian. I submit.
Okay,
Well,
just to add
well
on,
said.
just want to add on what Madam Banda has said. We have what we call cultural norms. We have the ways we live. Our cultural norms require us as to dress properly. I don't want to demean the other races, but the way I am, Lorraine, if I'm dressed in a small, tiny dress away from my cultural, look at Madame Banda, the way she's dressed. She's depicting what we as Zambians are. And then when I dress in a way where my other light-skinned person can dress, my body will draw more attention. My body parts will draw more attention. And then there are these things which have now come up where they say workplace harassment, but how do you express yourself when you go to work? Your physical expression matters also. And then you say sexual harassment at work. But you know very well, even when leaving home, that immediately I go out, I'll be an attraction to any man folk. We know it. There's a way God has built us as black-skinned women. We draw men's attention. There's the way we look. There's the way we are. We are a bit different from the other our friends. So yeah, we have to continue even as women leaders. When we have these upper row positions, we have to move with our cultural norms. We don't have to throw them away. I deliberately, when I go to outside conferences, I make sure I make vitenge outfits, and they love them. They really love them out there. They say, "Wow, oh, this dress is nice." But why do you want to throw them away? This is us. This is Zambian. This is what makes our culture stand out. So yeah, as women folk, in as much as we are eyeing for these senior positions, we shouldn't throw away our norms. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I think well said, well said. This has been a very informative, inspiring, and also uplifting, because it's always important to set the standards. I think Madam Sylvia talked about those in terms of women have to make sure that at least they are conducting themselves, especially it comes with the dressing, how they are putting themselves. Because if you're not, what do they say? Don't advertise if you are not in business. So, because sometimes it's important for us to make sure that at least the charity begins at home. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chanka, for taking time to be on this program. And thank you, Madam Lorraine and Madam Sylvia Banda. We greatly appreciate. And we look forward to chatting with you on a future program so that at least we can check back maybe a year from now where everything is at. So again, I just want to thank you all for taking time to be on our program.
Thank you so much. A pleasure.
Thank you.